Okay,
Beautiful.
are going live here.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, hello from Bali. This beautiful, beautiful Bali that we are in.
Yes.
So we are here today to welcome you, to give you a little bit of an introduction to ourselves and also to Cellular Sonics. So I'd like to introduce you to Eeshira Heart.
Hi there. My name's Eeshi-Ra, and I'm really passionate about sound. I've been working with sound for 20 years, and particularly tuning forks. And when used tuning forks are so precise, and we can get amazing benefits when we use scientifically researched and medically applied frequency. And I met Rachel quite a few years ago now in Bali, and we did an exchange. I had a bit of a neck problem from a bike accident here, and started talking to her about tuning forks. And then you picked them up, didn't you? And you started getting some, and started using them in your practice. And yeah, do you want to share a bit about that?
Yeah, I'd love to. Hello everybody, I'm Rachel Ellery, osteopath of 21 years, and I have incorporated a variety of other different tools into my belt as an osteopath. And slowly but surely, after having met Eeshira probably about 7 years ago, I had this sense of interest with having received the sound myself in the depths that sound can get to. And that I feel that my hands are pretty good, right? But there's a sense of how, when you apply sound to the body, how it resonates through your body via bone. And this became really clear to me that my hands can't quite get to that extent. And the beauty within sound healing, I have found I use in such a varying way to support the healing journey that I give to people, that I share with people, this journey, this exploration, this adventure through somebody's body that shows up to me, that it has years and years of all sorts of experiences, right? And if I can work out and apply different healing modalities to that person, that's what can make the difference. And I use sound in most of my treatments, whether it's to prepare a person to begin a treatment, whether it's during a treatment on a specific area through a sprain, a strain, a trauma, a contusion, or at the end of a treatment just to complete and integrate. So, yeah, it's been a really interesting journey through sound, and people often are quite taken by sound, and they're like, "Oh, what was that? What a magical, beautiful experience this is, to experience it." So yeah, after 21 years of being an osteopath and 28 years of healing, it's been a really useful, intriguing, subtle yet potent healing modality that I've incorporated into my work. Um, yes, I would have said it, there was a sense of fluffiness with sound, yet through the length of time that I've had with sound and the profundities that it has created through the feedback of my patients, and looking at some amazing information that Eeshira is very good at, getting into the research and the whys and the wherefores and the history of so much research that she's really gone into that in such a depth and has incorporated many of those research papers into this education that we have got together and intertwined, interwoven together to create this really awesome online training that has such a degree of depth to it, right? From from
Yeah,
Eeshira's depth of sound healing to my depth of knowing about the body, knowing about the anatomy, knowing about touch, different different aches, pains, and problems, right?
yeah. And I've also got a history, for those of you watching, I've got a history of working as a body worker. I trained in multiple different modalities. First qualification was 91. And I've also lived in the corporate world. And so, for me, I think like a scientist, but also like a troubleshooter. It's like, how do we reverse engineer the human condition? I know for myself what my challenges have been living in that corporate world. And what I love about sound, particularly tuning forks, there's lots of different sound modalities out there. The body needs to slow down. We are so overstimulated, whether we are pushing ourselves in our daily lives or we are, being pushed by our employer, to get work out faster. We are overstimulated by technology, overstimulated by blue light, working on computers late at night. And we're also ungrounded because the more stress we have, that ungrounds us. And what I love about sound is it slows the body down. And sound, with tuning forks, you're applying a tuning fork onto a part of the body. Tuning fork vibrates, and then it stops, and then you strike the fork again. And in that space, the body just has a moment to breathe and integrate. And it's not the overstimulation of so many other things, push, rush, and crack a back. If you're going to a chiro or something, it's so much more gentle. And that's why I love sound, that it can get into, like you say, Rachel, those parts, those deeper layers that a lot of other modalities just can't reach. And what we'd love to do today is talk about why sound can be so profound. So we want to talk about our 3 top tips, if you like. And for me as a sound practitioner, I always think about how can we transmit sound deepest, fastest, most effective, happy customers, happy patients. What is that way? I'm always guided by that question. How can I be the best I can be? How can the sound be the best I can be? And for those of you watching who may already be working with sound or may not be, and are curious to use sound in your treatments, when we look at the speed of sound, we can look at a tuning fork to the ear or someone talking to us that travels at a certain speed. But if we place a tuning fork onto the body, onto tissue, this is more like water, sound traveling through water, like dolphins or whales communicating across the ocean. This travels actually 4 times faster. But if we place tuning forks on bone, this is now talking to the whole skeleton. And actually, this is 10 times faster, over 10 times faster. So when I think about giving sound to the body, I'm going to go to the bone, or I'm going to work with the next point, which my next top tip is meridian points. Meridian points, they have quite a wide, area that you can treat. And obviously, if you're working with acupuncture needles, you have to really be right on the point. But with tuning forks, it's different. You can be within that area. You don't have to be exact. But now you're talking to meridians, and now you're talking to organs. And so that then helps also transmit the frequency into those organs to help reset the organs, help reset the nervous system, help reset the heart, help reset the lungs. And the lungs, of course, you know, that's a major concern right now. And then the third top tip is embodiment of that frequency. So how do we embody? Well, we've got different frequencies with the different forks that we're using, and these are scientifically researched, medically applied frequencies. How do we embody those? You know, there's a way that we can move energy through our body, a way we can have body awareness, a way we can notice what's going on in our body, so that if we are conscious of that energy flow and we are fully open and fully flowing, that transmission of the frequency to our client, to our patient, can be really far more effective. And for those of you who are practitioners already, I'm sure you know that whole feeling in your body when you're feeling energy moving in the patient, but they're not able to be necessarily aware of it or even clear it, and how it's down to you to perhaps do that job for them. So this is what we share in the course over and above all of the other things. And Rachel, we wanted to offer a special offer, didn't we, for everyone watching, because we're very conscious of the fact that this past year we've been quite economically challenged. So yeah, so we thought we'd make an offer to you. So over to you, Rach.
Yeah, we're making an offer in regard to splitting the course up a little bit more so into compartments, into modules. Or yeah, and bringing these modules to you with also the basic, it's not even basic, but the introduction, right? The introduction to sound and how sound can benefit you. What are the benefits of the individual tuning forks that we recommend for different parts of the healing that we are advising? And this information is rich. As I was mentioning, the research that Eeshira has done, which is exponential, it's huge. And this, I feel, is important to get the basics of the understanding of why it is that you want to use the tuning forks and how to use them, and the guidance that we can give you in that regard. Then we've gone, okay, let's look at really being a little bit more concise with the individual modules that you might be interested in, rather than the whole package. It might be like, oh yeah, well, I see people that are more in this category in relation to stress, in relation to trauma, in relation to pain. We've also got many others, right? Many other components, compartments to our healing, sound healing course that we've created. So within this special, rather than the whole package, we've gone into these individual modules. So in regard to pounds, we are really giving you the introduction part of the sound healing for £97 for the introduction. And then each module after that, we'd like to share with you for £47, which is
It's a complete steal. Yeah.
an absolute bargain for you guys to read and to also watch the videos. We spent a good 3 or 4 days with a filmer, and we recorded and we gave you some really specific, concise information from a sound healing perspective and from an osteopathic perspective, which is really going to enrich your world if you're coming from a Reiki, a sound healing point of view. In this may help to expand your why you would use sound, where would you use sound, and why you would use it in different aspects. So you may even start to attract different patients as you realize that you can use sound in different ways for different reasons. So
Yeah.
I think I'd like to share a couple of top tips in regard to, I'm going to make it pretty short and concise. In Sometimes I use a tuning fork as soon as that person lays down on my treatment bed, because they come in and they're all chatty. They've come in from their busy day. They're all talk. They want to know how long you've been an osteopath for. They want to know this. They want to know that. And I'm just like, this is not going to bring in the maximum potential for you to heal and for the magic to happen. So I use a tuning fork to quieten the mind down and to prepare that person to receive. I came from a very busy practice in New Zealand, of which most of the time it was chat. And now I try not to chat because, yeah, we want to increase that potency and potential for healing to occur. So that's my number one, quieten the mind, reduce this whole stress, chattiness that people come in with. And maybe it might be nervousness, right? So that I really like to utilize with the breath. Then even getting more osteopathic on it with injuries, with sprains, strains, contusions. Okay, often with sprains and strains, we've got different connective tissues that have been affected, injured, that go through this whole healing process and an inflammatory process response, which causes pain. So this allows me to utilize different tuning forks on the specific area of injury site, which, as we know, if we look at the body at a metaphysical level, each cell vibrates, okay? And each of those cells vibrating, if you've injured something, it's not going to be vibrating at the level that potentially we want to vibrate at a good functioning level. And what else affects our energetic body? We can look into trauma, okay? This might be trauma through verbal, it might be physical, it might be emotional, on all levels. It may be cultural, it may be sociologically traumatic for us within our world. So that trauma, that energy that comes from the trauma also can have an effect through our bodies. So these forks can really dive into the depths and can help shift mindset, can help bring up and can help open up that trauma for release. Whether that's through, I've had patients that have shaken on the table, people that have come into emotional expression of crying, of wanting to talk about that emotion and shift and change. I do encourage talking at times through treatment if it's going to help that sense of release, even screaming into a pillow. So, you know, there's that sense of, are we checking into that patient's trauma, no matter what that trauma might be and where that comes from. So yeah, I think they're my tips, top tips in relation to these components that we are looking to offer you from a modular point of view, which we're very excited about.
Great. Yeah, and I just wanted to run through, so in the manual, if you buy a module, you know, of Cellular Sonics, and you opt for say 1, 2, or 3, whatever you fancy, just to give you a little heads up, the first 50 pages of a 120-page manual, those subjects that are covered are a little bit of bio about us. Then we go into why I use sound, tuning forks, the history, weighted versus unweighted, lower and higher harmonic forks, speed of sound, bone conduction, difference in summation tones, which a lot of teachers don't cover. This actually maximizes the use of your forks. Conscious 7-layer touch, intention, how to strike, location, creating the circuit, to the ears, playing to the ears, playing to the body, playing through the field. pivoting forks, modulating forks, meridian points, accessories, the breath, very, very important, the frequencies and all the research that goes with it, patient consultation, contraindications, which again is very important. Many teachers don't cover that. Care during a session, what to look for, energy shifts, burping, nausea, headaches, how to keep the patient warm. All of these are very important as the body shifting vibration, how to turn them over in a gentle way, EMF radiation awareness, so you're turning off your Wi-Fi, that kind of thing. Music, what music to play, hydration. So for you signing up for the basics of the package that we offer, you'll get that. We've got treating anxious, busy mind patients, so it's covering stress. We've got calming children and babies. Kids love sound. They're so fascinated by the tune fork. You put it on there, they're like, what is that? Treating fractures, bones, treating contusions, bruises, treating sprains and strains, treating pain. We go into headaches, we go into TMJ, jaw, tooth pain, acute pain, chronic, degenerative, treating inflammation, treating trauma we've covered, but also then going more deeply, treating concussion and head trauma, treating neurological dysfunctions, insomnia, post-surgery, and pregnancy. So it's a very broad range. So if you start thinking, listening to this live and thinking, oh, well, I'm thinking about maybe branching out into treating inflammation or post-surgery or fractures, you know, especially now people aren't able to get to the hospital or don't want to go to the hospital. You know, it's very handy to have a few extra forks around and to be able to help those in need. So we would love to support you in however you want to learn with us. And if you feel like you'd like to do modules, then please reach out to us. Let us know which modules you're interested in. And we hope that you found this live interesting for you, and that it's got you thinking about expanding your practice and expanding how you use sound.
Brilliant, brilliant. So you can contact us in numerous ways. We have a Cellular Sonics Instagram page, Cellular Sonics. You'll be able to find us there and you can message us on that page. You can find us Cellular Sonics on Facebook, so you can also message us there. Myself, Rachel Ellery, you can find me on Facebook. You can find me on Instagram on The Anatomy School, which is my other side of my business. And you can connect to Eeshi-Ra. What's the best way to connect to you, Eeshi-Ra?
Yeah, I've got my Instagram, which is Sonic Life Solutions. I've also got my own professional account on Facebook, so you can send me a message there. And if I'm not online, then it will send you a little message and it'll give you my email. So you can connect to me that way as well.
So we're really open to questions, to support, to help you in your journey in discovering sound and incorporating it into your modality of your work that you do. So let's help, let's support each other in going in a new direction with healing and sound.
Yeah, and if you already got tuning forks and you want to find out, you know, if those tuning forks actually match what we offer, then just reach out and I'll be able to let you know. And we can either set you up with a custom order for those forks that you don't have, or maybe you've already got them. So just message us and let us know, and we're here to help.
Fantastic. Thank you, everybody. Take care of yourselves. Enjoy the rest of your week.
Great. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.